I know I look like crap, but I got up earlier than usual this morning and I thought I gotta make a story about Gary Johnson. This guy's an idiot. He's dumb and dangerous and he's a nominee. But I thought, you know, what the heck. Got up earlier. I'm just gonna put this out there before I have to get ready for the day. So yeah, just watch the whole video. This guy is just absolutely retarded. So yeah, I got I'm sorry. The guy didn't know what Aleppo was. And it's a place in Syria, and this guy, jeez. I'd laugh, but in a way it's kind of scary. Can you imagine this guy running for, well, yeah, he is running for president. Can you imagine if he became president, is what I'm trying to say. But anyway, I thought I'd put this together and get it out there and then get ready to get going for the day. Okay, I'm sure that most of you or some of you know who Gary Johnson is. He's a nominee for president that's libertarian, and he's just as dumb as nails. And not only that, he's dangerous. He didn't even know what Aleppo is, and Aleppo is a place in Syria. But anyway, I contemplated making a video on this, and I thought, you know, I've got to expose this. I've got to expose how stupid this guy is. But anyway, here's the video.
Gary Johnson is here. He's here to answer for this.
What would you do if you were elected about Aleppo?
About
Aleppo.
And what is Aleppo?
You're kidding.
No.
Aleppo is in Syria. It's the epicenter of the refugee crisis.
Okay, got it. Got it.
To hear the media tell it, Libertarian presidential candidate Gary Johnson can now kiss his presidential dreams goodbye. Is that fair? Is that right? Looking at Politico and the New York Times and a host of others calling it all but his Rick Perry moment, and still others saying that he lost any chance of being invited to a presidential debate. Is the stumble more suicidal? With me now, Gary Johnson. Governor, how you holding up?
Neil, I'm holding up all right. I'm going to try and make lemonade out of this is what I'm going to try and do, which is to talk about the policy in Syria right now. And Aleppo is at the epicenter of that policy.
But you didn't seem to know that.
Well, you know, I was thinking acronym when he said Aleppo, and guilty.
Yeah.
No excuse whatsoever.
But did you see, as you appreciated the magnitude of that you were kissing your chances goodbye?
No, well, if it is kissing my chances goodbye, so be it. But I've always been served really well by telling the truth, and you tell the truth, and you can get your way through things. But
so you thought it was a fair question?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anything's fair. I'm running for president of the United States, so you know, no complaints. No complaints.
Do you fear, though, that just as you were gaining momentum, that and you and I were just chatting about trying to get up to that 15%, so that you could be invited to the debates, that might not happen. Probably won't.
Well, let me just for a second, though, talk about the policy right now in Syria. And if I've got this wrong, you tell me that I have it wrong. But we have Assad, we have the administration on the east side administration. We have the regime of Assad on the east side of Aleppo. On the west side, we have
so you
the
knew
Free
Aleppo. You knew about the city of northern
free.
But,
Yes,
I'm sorry,
yes,
I do want to understand it.
yes,
But so
yes.
you just didn't know what Mike Barnacle was talking about at the time?
Well, I thought he was talking about an acronym. I was thinking about American. I don't know. AL.
Right.
But back to the policy, and people, I would love to have a debate and a discussion in this country about the policy, and it's as follows. You've got the regime of Assad on the east side of Aleppo. On the west side, you have the Free Syrian Army, which is allied with the Islamists, ISIS, whom we actually were paying Assad at one point to fight ISIS, but the two of them are aligned, so you have this arms transfer between the two. And then we're also supporting the Kurds, which are fighting ISIS, that are crossways with our ally Turkey.
But you didn't say or get into any of that this morning.
Well, no, because I was just...
So I'm almost a cynic, and you could say, well, now he's trying to sound smart on this.
Well, and be as cynical as you want, Neil. It is what it is. And the fact that we support regime changes in these countries put us in this position. The reason for Aleppo, the reason for these atrocities. And talking about the atrocities, I would just maintain that as atrocious as these genocides are, we go in, we try and improve on those situations, and at best, they end up being the same, and in many cases actually end up being worse.
So do you think, Governor, that this holding, whether it's Aleppo and you were caught off guard, it refuels an attack line that some have used against you, that you're non-interventionist, you don't like getting involved in this, and that because it's so against you, you're not up to speed on it, and that it's so you're viscerally against these involvements, well, and that yeah, you're just not a good anti-terror, deal with really bad guys type of leader, and that if you're looking for that, don't look to Gary Johnson.
No, look, we should provide for an invincible national defense. We should exhibit military superiority. I think I may have mentioned on your show that in a poll done on active military personnel here 3 weeks ago, I was the choice to be the next president of the United States.
You think you still would be after this?
Well, I would hope so, because I am still talking about the policy, which is military intervention, the policy which is all about us going in and trying to accomplish regime change that in my lifetime has just not worked out.
So do you think any of this hurt you, though? I mean, because I want you to react to this, because Hillary Clinton was asked about this earlier today. Let's take a look at this.
Hillary Clinton, Gary Johnson said he doesn't know where Aleppo is. Do you think Gary Johnson is capable of being commander-in-chief? Please.
Well, you can look on the map and find Aleppo.
What do you think of that?
Well, Hillary's got the map down. Hillary's got the names down, but Hillary's responsible for these policies. Hillary and Hillary and Obama both, and not intentional. Certainly you can't do this intentionally, but this is just how mixed up it is. And I go back to my earlier dialogue. People need to recognize just how complex this is and how we're working both sides, and somehow magically it's going to work out in the end. I do have a promise, Neil, and the promise is I'm going to make mistakes going forward also. I would make mistakes as President of the United States, but I'd be transparent in that, hey, made a mistake, shouldn't have said what I said, or whatever it happens to be, move on. Whether or not that disqualifies me as being President of the United States, that'll be for people to determine.
Have your people told you or expressed regret that this killed it for you?
Well, no, because this day was going to happen.
Right.
I expected this to happen sometime. Was it Aleppo that I was learning from this? Gee, what subjects are going to be discussed today?
Well, I guess what I'm going to say is that only yesterday you admit Romney tweeting that you and Governor Welder's, your running mate, William Welder, former governor of Massachusetts, should be on the debate stages as well. Have you heard from him?
No, and he's probably ruining what he wrote, which is that we should be on.
Well, there had been talk that he was going to endorse you.
Well, I hope I still am on the debate stage talking about the policy, not the place. And like I say,
but not, I'm asking about Governor Romney. Has he talked to you post this?
No.
So
no.
Talk that he would formally endorse you for the presidency, is that out the window?
I don't know, Neil.
Have you reached out to him?
No, I haven't. I was heartened by what he wrote yesterday, which is to include me in the debates. And with regard to the debates, I think that what I'm pointing out here is contrary to what the policies will be going forward, which at best are really convoluted, and have us in this situation to begin with. The fact that we did get involved in regime change. And this goes back to
Have you done any
Iraq.
snap polling on this, or whether people who heretofore hadn't heard of you now we're hearing a lot about you, and Hillary Clinton's responding to this, and all, it's like out of the woodwork.
Well, it is. It's kind of amazing, and I'm like I say, trying to make lemonade out of this. That we shouldn't be discussing the place Aleppo. What we should be talking about is the policy, which is so convoluted, and it's the result of our foreign policy that
But isn't
starts
it weird
with
that
regime
people who
change.
ignored you and everything you were saying are really focused on this? And I'm just wondering why you think that is.
Well, when I was running for governor, these extreme areas of poverty around the border, Mexico, New Mexico, I was very aware of it. No water, no sewage. I was asked the question, what do you think about colonias? This is when I was running for governor of New Mexico. I said, colonias? What's colonias? Colonias, it was headlines. Johnson doesn't know what a colonias is. Well, it was the actual term applied to these poverty-stricken areas, of which I was very aware. Well, if this is going to disqualify me from being governor of New Mexico, so be it, but it's what happened.
Do you think that if, let's say, you are able to make it to that debate stage, that you siphon more votes from Hillary Clinton than you do Donald Trump? An even mix? What do you think?
Well, I think it's an even mix, and I think the polls to this point have shown that.
Actually, they have. But I mean, when it's just the two of them going, Hillary Clinton's lead is bigger. When you're included, it's narrower.
Well, I think when it goes all the way to the election, that it'll end up being 50-50. That's what I think. And wouldn't be doing this if I didn't think that there's still the opportunity to win. A pitch here that I am a transparent guy, that I do tell the truth, and telling the truth. Hey, if that results in this crashing and burning, you know what? So be it. It's what I have. It's who I am. It's the filter that I have, and the filter that I have is start with the truth, and you just don't go wrong with the truth.
You had said later in the day, Governor, that you would have, obviously, as president, you'd have, foreign policy briefings and updates on security affairs, and that you'd have people for this, which is all well and good, but it has fueled a debate whether Gary Johnson himself, an accomplished two-term governor, did a great deal, is just not up to speed running the foreign policy.
Well, and based on what happened this morning, look, I'll heap it on, guilty. But going forward, all you can do is wake up tomorrow, smile on your face, keep after it, and really, this is.
Would you be tough on terror? Would you deal with this refugee crisis?
Well, what we need to understand is, and we're going to see this through, and by that, terrorism, ISIS, but there will be a void at the end of the day. There's going to be a void at the end of the day, and who is that void going to get filled by? Well, in this case, we didn't even hear about ISIS until a couple of years ago, and a lot of this has to do with what happened in Iraq as a result of us going in and supporting regime change, and the fact that a lot of this is those that have fled from Iraq. So it needs to be regionally contained, and Congress needs to get involved in a policy position going forward, a declaration of war. But yeah, we're going to see this through. We're not going to, we're going to be tough on terror, but not make these mistakes that have created this in the first place.
Have you talked to your running mate, Governor Well? Did he just say, well, thanks a lot, we'll just kiss this one goodbye?
No, Bill is really supportive, and
what did he say?
Well, he just said, look, much to do. I don't want to paraphrase, but you're okay. We're both okay. We've made a pledge to ourselves that we'll tell the truth, and tell the truth. You don't have to remember anything, and really, both of us, I think, have excellent instincts on all this, and this is based on both of us having been former governors in heavily Democrat states. I think we're right down the middle between
All that
Clinton
will
and Hillary.
more than offset the nastiness you've gotten from.
I don't want to make that claim either, Neil.
Yeah.
Who's to say how this all falls
What are you
out?
drilling in your head now? Aleppo, 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 Aleppo. Governor Johnson, thank you very, very much. Very good seeing you. Gary?
There, now you have proof that Gary Johnson is a complete idiot and he's not going to make it in the debates. Dear God. Anyway, please leave a comment, subscribe and leave a like. And good morning, good afternoon, or good night, depending on when you see this video. And, yeah, this guy is just an absolute moron.